All right, guys, we're here. We're live. We're going to officially start in just a couple of minutes, as you can see right here. We're testing out a couple of new things today before we officially kick off Hit the Mic TV Live with the celebration of 400 episodes next week. But today what we're going to talk about is some Facebook updates. F8 was this week, and so Facebook announced a ton of new things. What we're going to focus on today is the stuff that's actually relevant to you. And so what you kind of need to know and what you don't need to know, I'll trust that you'll find someplace else. What I want to start with, though, before we jump into that is two things. First up, Twitter, just breaking news style. In fact, let me pull this up for you. Breaking news style, Twitter is saying that you need to change your password. So, as you can see from Mashable, Twitter thinks you should really change your password right now. Apparently there was some kind of bug that may or may not have shared your password. So, I'm going to go with, let's err on the side of caution and change your password. So, breaking news just happened. Twitter just shared that. If you have not updated your password in a while, I highly recommend doing a couple of things. A, updating your password semi-regularly, but also using two-factor authentication. In fact, we were just talking about this with the new LinkedIn guide for Backstage members, because LinkedIn offers two-factor, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these have two-factor. I have them turned on everything, because then even if someone gets my password, there's some protection about sort of being able to take that next step. So, kicking it off with a little unrelated breaking news, but I wanted to make sure that information got out there, and I just happened to find it right before we were going to jump in. So there we go. Number two thing, who the heck am I? Maybe you're brand new to this cool space. I'm the Stacey Harris. I'm a social media strategist and trainer. Essentially what I do is I help frustrated solopreneurs, so coaches and consultants primarily, who are DIYing their social, stop being frustrated and start getting results. We're all about clarity here. We're all about focusing on specific actions you can take to actually see results in your business. No fluff, no nonsense, no BS, no skeeziness, no douchebaggery allowed. It's sort of our policy here. So that's who I am. I'd love to know who you are. So if you want to hit the comments and say hi, I would absolutely love to feature you and say hi and know who's watching. We're actually dual streaming today. I told you we're testing all sorts of fun stuff ahead of the launch of next week. So I'm actually live on Instagram down here where I'm not really paying attention, but Paul is joining us. Hi, Paul. And then I'm up here on Facebook as well with you guys. So you can kind of get a preview of what's to come next week when we officially kick off the show. Again, that is this time right now, except on Tuesday. And we're going to be kicking off the Hit the Mic TV show happening every week here on Facebook. And we might dual stream to Instagram. I haven't decided yet. And we're doing that to celebrate the 400th episode of the podcast. If you've been hanging out with me for a while and you've been listening to the podcast for going on, I think I just figured out it was like 5 years, 4 years, something like that. I'd love to have you join us for that. Plus, we're giving away cool stuff. So what do you say we get into this? Here's what I want to know. I want you to hit the comments, yes or no, super easy. When Facebook does these things and they announce stuff like this, any kind of changes, do you get super freaked out and angry, or are you excited? Because I think I might be weird. Well, I'm fairly certain I'm at least a little weird, and I enjoy that about myself. But I'm pretty sure I'm weird because I always get kind of excited. I don't know, I'm challenge accepted, Facebook, let's do this. And especially in the last couple of months with the stuff that's been rolling out around privacy issues and algorithm changes, I feel like it's really kind of doing a whole separating the skeezy from the awesome. Because, what is that really weird saying that I can never remember? The cream rises to the top or something like that. The best of the best are going to show up. They're going to provide value. And guess what? They're still going to be seen because you are showing up and you're providing value. You're treating that person that is consuming your content like a person and not a robot. We want to speak to the people, not the robots. Although, when we're going to talk about bots a little bit today, I do love me a bot. So Not all bots are bad. But yeah, so I think it's good. I think these changes are going to be amazing. And I actually have a stat in here that's going to prove that Facebook is going absolutely nowhere. And yes, we have notes. We're growing up, guys. This is going to be legit. So as you join us, pop in, say hey. Let me know how you feel when Facebook makes these changes. Do you love them? Do you hate them? I want to hear from you. And of course, I'd also love to know where you're watching from. This is one of the things where me and the mouse in my pocket, me and my friend here, I can never do this right. Me and my friend here are very curious where you're from, where you're watching from anyways. So as you join us, say hey. All right. Let's jump in. Cool. We're going to start with Facebook and then we'll talk about some Instagram stuff. But up first, Facebook is going to give us the option to delete our data. This is something they're working on right now. This is definitely in response to the privacy issues that we've seen from Cambridge Analytica, which is now shuttering their doors and like getting the heck out of Dodge, but that's a whole other show. So they are working on this now. Essentially what it will allow us to do is in a matter of a couple of clicks, remove the data that has been shared with apps. Here's the thing I want you to remember about this privacy stuff, guys, is as you're signing in with Facebook to third-party tools, or you're giving access to Facebook, you're having to say, yeah, Facebook can see my whatever to get quiz results or log into things. That's you opting to share your data, which is what is actually happening with all of this app data. Facebook did not like sell your data down the river. No, like on the open market. There's no like, buy Facebook profiles to actually there might be, but Facebook is in no way related to it. So make responsible choices when it comes to saying, yeah, Facebook can have my data, and then you won't need this delete my data button. All right. And this is true of all the networks. I know we're talking about Facebook today, but you can actually go on Twitter as well and look at what networks what tools, what third-party tools you've given access to your Twitter account. From time to time, go in there and clean that up, because you will be absolutely amazed if after you've had any kind of account for a while, the things that over the years have become attached to it that maybe you forgot about, maybe you don't really use anymore. Whatever that is, make sure you're cleaning house, okay? So that's coming. How do you feel about that? Are you excited about delete data? I think it's cool that we're getting the option. I think what we're seeing with the GDPR stuff, this changes in how we're thinking about our privacy, which is a whole thing, whole soapbox I could get out, but I will leave away. We're seeing a shift to making sure that users have control of their data in as much as possible. And so I think this is really a response to that. I think we're going to see that in a lot of places over the coming months. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of a funny one. I don't think for most of us this is going to be, certainly from a business perspective, changing much of anything. But Facebook is officially, because I'm sure unofficially it's been in the dating game for a while, it's officially getting into the dating game. Essentially what you'll have is a public-facing profile that you set up that is only visible by non-contacts who are also looking for love, and they'll be making connections based on common interests, etc. Here is why I'm sharing this, because there is some speculation that with all the algorithm changes, that Facebook is no longer 100% relevant, and that people are going to be closing their profiles and running for the hills. Well, Match doesn't seem to think so, I bet, because when this was announced the other day at F8, Match stock fell 22%. Yeah. Seriously. So clearly, Facebook's still in the game, guys, all right? And that's why I really wanted to share that, because I have heard from so many people, well, Facebook's not going to matter anymore, nobody's paying attention to it, everybody's deleting their accounts. I wouldn't be so quick to judge that one, guys. I think you're going to see little Facebook persevere once again, especially as they're making a lot of these changes to make their user base feel as comfortable as possible using this space. One of the things I'm most excited about, app reviews are back open, which means bots are back. Now, if you had a bot through, and I recommend ManyChat or whatever tool you were using, you may have very well kept access. For example, Betty, our bot here at the Stacey Harris, she worked the whole time that this app thing was on lockdown because she was already set up. What we're seeing now is for those of you who want to link a new bot to a new page or a new bot to an existing page, but you're sort of setting up that connection for the first time, that's what's back open. So if you are somebody who wanted to get your bot set up, I suggest doing it. The thing I want to say here is I kind of assumed, you know what they say about assuming, I kind of assumed that there would be a wait on this until there was also some policy changes, some news about kind of maybe some new rules. We're not so much seeing that yet. But whenever you're creating a bot, make sure that you are doing this the right way. Make sure you are, not scheming people, and make sure you do know the rules. There are some rules around bots. We're going to be talking about that on a future episode of this show, actually. But one of the ones that I want you to know, and ManyChat will actually tell you this when you go to send out a broadcast, is if you haven't had contact, like they haven't engaged with your messenger, your bot, in the last 24 hours, you cannot send them a promotional message. So you've got to be remembering the nurture part of this, the relationship building part of this, it's not a megaphone that Facebook has given you to just yell at people sales offers. That's not what we're doing. That's not going to provide value for your business any more than them, the people who are getting the messages. So make sure you are doing this the right way. Cool? All right. We'll talk more about that on a future episode of the show. So are you excited bots are back? How many of you are using bots? Hit me in the comment and let me know. How many of you are using bots? If you're using bots, just kind of like give me use a little robot emoji. That would be just the best thing ever. I love my bot. In fact, I spent most of the morning playing with the bot. We're going to have some cool stuff rolling out in conjunction with this show, so that you can get reminders through Betty. She can help you find things. If you head over to my page, or you're watching the page right now, you can message and Betty will take care of you. She'll get you started on a backstage trial, or she'll find a human for you, which just means she notifies me that you need me. And I get back to you. Like, it's fantastic. It's a really great way to make sure that your audience is heard and is connected. We've got a comment from Instagram. Hi, Instagram. Faye says, I'm not really sure what bots are. Stick around. We're going to talk about them lots upcoming on Hit the Mic TV. So pay attention to this space. I'm actually working on a bot-specific training for Backstage members. So we'll have some front-end content in Hit the Mic TV and Hit the Mic podcast over the next couple of weeks, probably going into June. You'll see that stuff. But bots are fantastic because, again, they're a way on Facebook to let people who are messaging our page sort of get some of our FAQ stuff fairly easy, because we can anticipate what their questions might be and deliver up those answers right away. So that's really great. Let's see. Moving to page 2 of my notes. Yeah, guys, lots of stuff happened this year. More Facebook, but focus more on Messenger. They're working on a translation option, meaning you will actually be able to talk to people. Right now it's English and Spanish, and Messenger will do the translation. I think this is going to be really cool. It's just to tell you where my brain is at. I'm thinking this will be so amazing for travel companies, because if you have a travel company and you're in, let's say, Mexico, because it's Spanish to English right now, and I live in Southern California, which is very close to Mexico, and you're planning a trip and you want to message a hotel, the hotel can have that translation service, so they're able to handle that information very, very quickly. So from a business perspective, it's going to be really great, because it's going to allow those of us who don't necessarily speak the language of all of our customers, as this translation option expands, obviously, and be able to answer quick questions and get them where they need to go a lot more simply. And as a user, it's going to allow us to connect with those places and those people and get the information we need. How cool is that? I'm really excited about it. There's also doing a little bit of a cleanup. So they're taking out camera, they're taking out games. I'm really excited about this, because I feel like, let me know if you're with me, Messenger has gotten cluttered. And the more and more we use it, the more and more cluttered it feels, because now I'm trying to dig around to find my actual messages. And then it's like, well, we're ending up in the same problem that email has. There's just too much here to be of value. And so I'm really excited about this. So they're cleaning that up. The other thing I'm excited about from a community perspective is they're going to be rolling out the ability to upvote and downvote comments. So you'll actually be able to encourage certain comments, highlight comments that are maybe less than productive. That's coming. I'm really excited about that. Also, watch parties. I've seen these kind of rolling out in groups, and I have not used them or been a part of them. But my favorite thing about this is the way that Mark Zuckerberg announced it. So they were talking about maybe, what does he say now? Like maybe you have a friend who is testifying in front of Congress. You'll be able to watch them and talk about it with your friends. He's like, I had friends who actually did this. Let's not do that again anytime soon. It was quite funny. I really like when Zuckerberg busts out a little bit of humor. He's gotten better and better at it as he's evolved as a CEO and as the face of Facebook and done these events. But it was really amusing to me. It could just be me. Is it just me? Let me know if it's just me. But it was quite funny. And I think it's going to be a really cool thing, especially when we're talking around. I immediately went to awards shows because I'm a big fan of awards shows. Like this would be a really fun way to have like an Oscar party, or like the Tonys are coming up in about a month. I think that's super fun. I think that'll be a really cool thing to do. I'm sure for other people it's like the Super Bowl or things like that. But I think it's going to be really fun. I'm curious to see how, from a business perspective, shows like The Voice and American Idol and Dancing with the Stars are going to encourage this kind of behavior. The Bachelor, you already see people doing this in their homes a little bit, or via Twitter, following hashtags. The other thing that came to mind really fast was like the Scandal season finale. That was a big deal. People were live tweeting. I'm wondering if that experience is going to move into a more Facebook-focused area, especially as this watch party thing develops and matures, and we maybe get this opportunity to do it through Apple TV or Roku apps or whatever. I'm curious to see how it matures. I think it could be really fun. Again, not super useful for the day-to-day of your business right this second, but it's something to be aware of. And it's a really good example of Facebook being a solid business model. And I don't mean in like model like you want to be Facebook, but in anticipating how your users and responding to how your users are using your product, how your customers are consuming on your platform, whether that is a podcast or blog content or courses or coaching or your group program or whatever that is, looking at how they're already kind of forming these things and then building them a structure to do it. It's just really good business. And it's how Facebook has been able to do something that other networks like MySpace were not able to do necessarily, which is evolve with our interests and evolve with our time and keep us engaged. That's something to really pay attention to as an entrepreneur, because we're seeing a difference there. We're seeing a lot of value in just watching how Facebook is responding to some of this stuff, watching how Facebook is responding to some of the negative feedback after the data issues. There are some really good business lessons to be learned there. Even if you're not super into the tech and the social of it, there's some really good business lessons. So yeah, that's exciting. Let's shift to Instagram. And this is this first one's a little bit Facebook and Instagram because we're talking about stories. Does anyone use Facebook stories, like on Facebook? I have it set up so my Instagram stories go to my Facebook page's story, but I don't ever watch or use Facebook story. I'm curious. Let me know if you do. Hit me in the comments. Let me know. You too, Instagram. Do you guys ever watch Facebook stories or just here on Instagram? I'm just here on Instagram with you. I'm excited, but this is something I'm really stoked about. So they're actually going to allow third-party tools to share to stories. Third-party tools being other apps. Right now, GoPro, SoundCloud, and Spotify are already options, meaning you could share a Spotify song, a Spotify playlist. I'm going to be playing around with it this afternoon to look and see if we can do podcasts, share podcast episodes. This is something we're going to play around with SoundCloud as well. I'll be honest, I've never made an incredible effort to get the podcast up on SoundCloud. I think there's 5 episodes kind of from here and there in time. up on SoundCloud, I'm going to change that. I'm actually going to make sure that the podcast, all of the episodes, are available on SoundCloud so that I can pull them into stories and share them that way. I'm going to see if I can do that with Spotify podcasts. By the way, something to know, again, not related to Facebook, but breaking news. Spotify is putting a pause on accepting new podcast feed requests because they apparently were ill-prepared for the volume at which people would be submitting podcasts. But you can find Hit the Mic with these Stacey Harris because it's already submitted. Okay. Somehow that's going to be the screen grab, guys, that Facebook comes up with. That's going to be it for sure. In your direct message in Instagram, there's going to be video chat soon. This is very cool. I'm excited about it. Right now, you can send like a little video, but there's actually going to be live video chat, a la FaceTime, Skype, something like that. Very cool. Also an anti-bullying filter. Again, we're seeing Instagram and Facebook really wanting to be not just competitive by offering similar things, but competitive in making this a safer space than something like Snapchat. So I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how it rolls out and how it works. The Explore tab is evolving. This is something you need to be aware of because when you're becoming a part of these conversations in the Explore tab on Instagram, it's going to be by topic now instead of just sort of random stuff you might like 18 sort of images based on. No, it's going to be sort of, you can go down a literal rabbit hole on Instagram on the Explore tab. My favorite is, if you don't know Adrienne Dorson, find her. She's fantastic. But she shared on her Instagram stories, I think it was yesterday or the day before, it was just dogs. And I was like, see, the algorithm works because they knew you, they saw what you like, and they put it in front of you. I get a lot of really random stuff still, but I think it's because my tastes are fairly random. So pay attention to that. But for those of us who want to get in the Explore tab, making sure that we are really creating content that speaks to and using the correct hashtags, that speaks to our audience interests and is speaking to our ideal clients' interests, so that you have the opportunity to get into that algorithm in a way that's going to be solid placement. Yeah, makes sense? Cool. So that's it. There are more changes and some articles I want to show you because Facebook has actually put some of this stuff together for us. Let me just scroll here a little bit. You can see Facebook has this article up on their site now. I can share a link to it in the comments after I wrap up here, but as you can see, we're sharing some stuff on, here's the clear history stuff, sharing the stories so you can kind of see what the Spotify looks like. Very, very cool. The group stuff. There is a new groups tab. This is something I forgot to mention. There's a new groups tab. I don't know how many of you remember, there used to be an app for mobile devices that was just groups that I actually loved and I really wish they wouldn't have taken away. But also, I don't know that I need 19 Facebook apps, which is kind of where I feel like I'm currently at. But now there's a tab, so you can very quickly get to all of your groups because they may not all be in your favorites or in your shortcuts or whatever they're called these days. So there is a tab to actually go find those pretty quickly. Here's the dating stuff, which just kind of cracked me up. But the fact that like stock actually dipped for Match dependent on this. The crisis response, this is actually really cool. Being able to check in, being able to get updates. I'm excited about that. They're also doing blood donation information. I didn't talk about this AR stuff. If you're interested in that, I suggest going to look at this. I'm guessing most of you who are watching me right now are not interested in that stuff. Video chat we talked about, New Explore we talked about, some WhatsApp stuff for those who are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp has grown in amazing ways. If you're not paying attention to it right now, I highly recommend paying attention to it. Translations, AR, VR, that's pretty much it. Again, if you're into the AR, VR stuff, I highly recommend going to look at this article. And this is what I wanted to point out. You can actually read or watch the complete keynote if you want to know more. That is what I recommend checking out because that is going to give you the whole shebang, start to finish, everything you want to know. But I wanted to kind of cover the things that were going to be pertinent for you guys today so that you could see kind of what was going on, get the information you need again. If there are any questions, leave them in the comments below. But I'm going to wrap it up. What I want to remind you of before we go is that Tuesday we are officially at 400 episodes. of Hit the Mic with the Stacey Harris. It's the podcast. I would love to celebrate with you, so watch us live right here, same time, same channel, different day. Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time here on the West Coast in the U.S. I'm going to be giving some stuff away live on the show. Amazon gift cards, backstage memberships, BAM memberships, all the cool stuff. So come hang out with us, all right? Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. This was a long one. I will see you guys Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Again, if you have any questions, hit me up. And I'm going to drop a link to these articles from Facebook. So again, you can go watch it if you want to watch it. But I kind of gave you the rundown of the most important stuff. All right? I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.